welcome to the Bomb Shelter. I'm your host this episode, Jay McDowell. With me is my co-host, Kevin Schumm.
Hello.
Hey, before we get going too far into this is our second episode. If you've listened to the first episode, you would know that. We thought we'd give a little bit of a background as to who we are, why we're doing this, and why we do this to ourselves.
Yeah.
So, Kevin and I have been watching bad movies for a long time.
Yeah.
And been watching them kind of routinely on a monthly get-together for about 6-7 years now.
Yeah. Before that, we watched bad movies all by ourselves, and then we realized, like, well, why not do this together?
It was more fun to watch it with somebody and share the misery.
Yeah.
So we started doing that, and then eventually we got to the point where we're kind of like, yeah, this podcasting thing is taking off with the kids, so maybe it'd be fun to share the misery with, well, at least a dozen other people so far. So here we are. So what's your little bad movie history, Kevin?
Oh gosh. It comes so naturally to me that I don't really remember, like, and then that was the day I realized I liked bad movies. It just sort of, 20 years later I thought, oh, I really like bad movies, and I always have, but it's hard to say, when did it start or what got me hooked.
Yeah.
I think it just kind of happened.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same thing. I just always like cheesy movies, and then once Mystery Science Theater came around, we were kind of able to put a kind of a name to it.
Yeah,
we weren't riffing on them, but just watching bad movies and actually enjoying it.
I think that's what made me realize it was a thing to like bad movies instead of just something I like to do. I'm like, oh, people do this.
There's other people like me.
Yeah, it's
like a whole village of people.
Village people.
Kind of. Without the costumes. So, I grew up watching, movies on the old UHF channels and, old Godzilla movies and Ultraman and stuff like that. And then we had Elvira's Movie Macabre for a while.
Yeah, that was a big one for me.
Yeah. I remember watching it before I really knew what was going on with her whole thing. But, as far as the get up and all. But I just always enjoyed the goofy little bits in between and the really bad movies and stuff. So, yeah, it's been pretty much a lifelong thing.
Yeah. I almost wonder, I don't know if this is the right time to get into it, but just real quickly, a thought just occurred to me. Maybe, starting this as a young kid watching the Elvira stuff, those movies were goofy and all, but they were kind of scary. Maybe the goofiness allowed me to watch something that would have just scared me if it was just a straight movie without the goofiness. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Because a lot of scary movies are pretty goofy.
Yeah.
When you really, really look at them. But some of them, like when we were kids, were particularly terrifying.
Yeah.
So we'll find out as we go along.
So we're gonna do mostly bad movies, almost only bad movies, but we're gonna do horror. We're gonna do scary. We're gonna do sci-fi, fantasy. And then even just some, like, maybe action type. Just anything.
Just anything that catches our attention.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if you hear a little Evel Knievel come through sometime.
Yep, for sure.
So now that we've gotten that all out of the way, we're going to go along to our next movie. Our movie for this episode is the beloved 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special.
Luke Skywalker and Han Solo rescued the princess, destroyed the Death Star, but their story didn't end there. Now, the creators of the biggest smash hit of all time bring you the next episode in the Star Wars saga.
Mama, it's so good to see you. Happy Life Day.
Continuing story of our band of heroes. A big, new, sprawling space adventure in the Star Wars saga. Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Chewbacca, C-3PO,
Happy Life Day, everyone.
R2-D2, Princess Leia.
Introducing Chewbacca's family, his wife Mala, his father Itchy, his son Lucky.
And there you have it, the trailer for the Star Wars Holiday Special. Again, this came out in 1978. It was allegedly directed, supposedly by
Yeah.
two people, Steve Binder and David Akomba.
Yes.
Both apparently were TV directors, some
yeah.
merit.
Yeah, Steve did a lot of specifically TV specials,
Yeah.
like not 5 episodes of Chips or whatever, but just like specials that were one time.
Yeah, he wasn't a television director. He was like, I mean, back in the 70s, we had, the Battle of the Network Stars and the Donnie and Marie, holiday extravaganza and the, stuff like that. So he did more along those lines, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then the other guy, the other director, David, he did mostly TV, but he did not do as much on Internet Movie Database. The Star Wars special, I think, was his number 2 most known thing that he had done. So,
and probably the last thing.
Yeah,
he was known
yeah.
to be done.
But there wasn't much on him.
So
yeah.
Okay, well, and then the writers. Well,
I think there were about 6 of them.
Yeah, about 6 writers. Pat Proft, Leonard Rips, Bruce Valanche, which explains so much about this.
Definitely.
And we'll go back to him in a minute. Rod Warren and Mitzi Welch.
Yeah.
Bruce Valanche, he was known throughout the 70s and 80s. You'd know him if you saw him.
Yep.
Big guy, weird curly hair, glasses. And always wears still apparently just like a t-shirt and jeans and stuff. Very casual. Known though for writing episodes of game shows, which I didn't know. Hollywood Squares, I did not know was scripted so much.
You write them.
Yeah, he wrote a lot of them. So I guess he was kind of a joke writer.
Yeah,
almost. You can definitely see his fingerprints all over this.
Yep.
And it's not a good thing.
I remember when I looked that up and I saw him, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
That explains so much. Also, there's another writer. I don't know if we ever heard anything more from him. George Lucas. George Lucas.
Oh, yeah.
I never heard of him. I don't think he went on to do much else.
Uncredited.
He was uncredited anyways. He's probably just some, Z-level schlep that, they just pulled it off the street. So, the less we talk about him, the better. The cast, interestingly enough, they got pretty much the entire cast.
Yeah, somehow they convinced all of them.
Yeah, I think 2 words: contractual obligation.
Yeah.
One in particular, Harrison Ford, did not look happy to be there, but the others, I guess, were game.
Yeah.
We also had James Earl Jones doing his first credited Vader's voice.
Yep.
And then we get into the other people who are in this, the named people.
Yeah.
First and foremost, B. Arthur.
Beatrice, as they called her. Yeah.
Art Carney, Diane Carroll, and a very disturbing character that she plays. Harvey Korman, who plays 3 different characters, I think.
1 woman and 2 guys.
A robot and an alien who drinks the top of his head.
Yeah.
And Jefferson Starship.
Yeah.
Yes, they made a song for this.
I think just the fact that the word Starship was in their name probably was like, well, let's have them do it.
I think somebody in their coke-fueled, haze was like, there's Starship in the name, so we should get them.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. It fits just fine. A lot of these names were, in the 70s, they were all pretty big names.
Yep.
B. Arthur, she had been on All in the Family, which turned into Maude. She eventually was on Golden Girls, of course.
Yeah.
Art Carney was on, the Honeymooners. Diane Carroll, she was, or still is, I think she's still alive.
I think so.
A fairly well-respected singer. And then Harvey Korman, of course, Blazing Saddles and the Carol Burnett Show and all sorts of stuff. All really good names and really and Jefferson Starship. Okay, fine. All well-known names, but this whole thing just
Yeah, I mean, you see the list of names and you'd think, wow, what is this thing? And you're like, wait, there's a lot of people from Star Wars in this. Oh, Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah. It could have very easily been called the Star Wars Variety Show.
Yeah.
And it would have been
Yeah.
every bit as good. So the plot, such as it is, well, we pulled this, not necessarily, we didn't get it from IMDb because it was really, really long.
Yeah.
Where did you find this?
I think this also was on Internet Movie Database. I can't even say the word. Internet. But it was, instead of the actual plot, it was sort of like the tagline for the movie, which is sort of a long tagline for a movie.
And it's a little incorrect, too.
Yeah.
It says Luke Skywalker and Han Solo battle evil Imperial forces to help Chewbacca reach his imperiled family on the Wookiee planet in time for Life Day, their most important day of the year.
And yeah, that's true. That isn't actually very accurate. Luke Skywalker didn't do that much.
No, he worked on an engine and kept blowing it up.
Yeah.
That's about it.
This not plot. This tagline was sort of like, this is our goal. Let's see how close we can get to this. And then they failed.
Missed it by that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a rough idea of the plot, the skeleton that the rest of the show hangs on.
Yeah.
It is Han and Chewie trying to get back to, well, in the show, Kashyyyk, the Wookiee planet.
Yeah.
Which is eventually changed to Kashyyyk. They're making their way through Star Wars clips and things like that, and trying to reach the planet. And all the while, we spend an inordinate amount of time with Chewie's family, which consists of his wife Mala, his dad Itchy, and his son Lumpy.
Yeah, of course.
And we don't get subtitles.
No.
So we get near an hour and a half of through the whole thing, and lots of really awkward body language and miming and things like that.
If you're watching it, you can kind of get the idea of what they're talking about, but it almost seems like there should have been subtitles just to kind of, I don't know, just to make it seem more like a real language. Because when I'm hearing that and seeing emotion, it almost makes me feel like, well, they're not intelligent enough to have a language, so they just kind of grunt and point. That's almost the impression you get. Yeah,
and in Star Wars, canon, it is a language.
Yeah.
But it was just a lot of grunts and growls. And a lot of whining from Lumpy.
Yeah.
Wow, that was bad.
Who is more annoying to you, Lumpy or Itchy?
Itchy was creepy.
Yeah, he has this weird underbite lip thing.
Yeah, it looks like on the Muppets, they were the aliens.
Yeah,
and they go me, and their mouth would just flap open like that, and that's pretty much what he looked like. He was pervy though.
Yeah,
and like a dirty old man Wookiee. Lumpy was just annoying,
just like any little.
Pretty much. He was kind of the Sam on Different Strokes.
Yeah,
that level of annoying.
Yeah,
just not singing country songs every once in a while. So as the story progresses, though, we basically get kind of a day in the life of Chewie's family while they're waiting for him to make it for Life Day.
Life Day is basically, it's not Christmas, but it seems like it's sort of Christmas.
It's some kind of. It's almost like a Hallmark holiday.
Yeah.
It's like a friendship day kind of thing.
But there's gifts.
Family and friends.
They give gifts apparently or something like that.
Yeah, and they all dress up in Hail Satan, it looks like.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. If you see it, you would understand.
Yeah.
But they go through, and as they're going, they interact with the other actors. With Art Carney in particular, he plays a trader a trader, like trades goods and services, not a traitor.
Not the bad kind.
Yeah, not the bad kind. He helps them out. He kind of gets the Empire off their tail and provides them with a few things that they need and stuff.
Yeah.
And he basically plays his character from the Honeymooners.
Yeah.
He just kind of plays that same kind of thing, does the same little mannerisms, same little...
That's true.
Stopping and doing weird things with his hands and stuff. And again, as we go along, we meet up with other characters from Star Wars. Mala is trying to find out where Han and Chewie are.
Yeah.
And so she starts calling around. She calls Luke, who's working on, it looks like a piece of the
Some sort of-
X-Wing.
yeah.
And he and R2 are working on it, and he looks really, really...
Yeah.
The makeup on him is just really bizarre looking.
I mean, I'm assuming all characters were wearing some makeup just because they're being filmed, but his seemed to be overdone. I mean, it was really obvious. Hey, he's wearing makeup.
Yeah, it's like eyeliner and
Yeah.
and thick, foundation and stuff like that on his face. It was really
weird.
off-putting. They end up what they call Princess Leia, who's with C-3PO.
Yep.
And, well, actually, she contacts them because she's trying to find out where she needs to talk to Han or somebody.
Yeah.
And so then they interact a little bit. And then we get interspersed with Han and Chewie, of course, on the Falcon, trying to outrun the Imperials.
Yep.
As we go along, we watch different shows also within the show.
Yeah.
One of them is a cooking show with a 6-armed creature that Mala is trying to keep up with, and the creature's played by Harvey Korman.
Yep.
And then we see another little video showing Lumpy how to assemble a communications device of his, also played by Harvey Korman, as a malfunctioning droid of some sort. And then it's kind of it's a weird setup. The Imperials show up at the house, and they start tearing the place up, looking because they know there's supposed to be 3 adult Wookiees and
there's only
one child, and there's only 2, and so they're trying to figure out where Chewie is. So they tear the place up. Well, they tell Lumpy basically, go, keep yourself occupied and stay out of the way. So he sits and just watches, the whole video. And that video turns out to be the one part that isn't horrible. It's just very bizarre. The cartoon part that introduces Boba Fett.
Yeah, that may have been the only part of this entire movie that I actually sort of like, that I would want to watch again.
Most anyone you ask, that's the part that they're like, yeah, that was, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's weirdly drawn. You'll probably hear this phrase a lot, but there was probably a lot of cocaine involved.
Yeah.
Because C-3PO has sideways eyelids. His head is held on by a cable.
Yeah, it looked really odd.
R2-D2 rolls with his 3rd foot behind him.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Again, though, we are introduced to Boba Fett, who color-wise doesn't look the same, but he's, you can tell
The design pretty close.
Yeah, and he says he's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
The one thing I did notice that I thought was a nice little touch was he had the dent in his helmet.
Oh.
And I don't know, this came out in 78 and it was rammed through, so I think Empire was filmed in 79. So I don't know if they had the design for Boba Fett down yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the dent came from the design for the movie or the movie took the dent from the cartoon.
Yeah, I guess
It's just I just noticed that when we were watching it, and it was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. So, and that's basically the gist of the story is he's working for the Empire, but he tricks Luke and Han. Well, he tricks Luke into almost telling him where the rebels are hidden.
Yeah.
He gets found out by the droids and then takes off.
Yeah.
And that's it. The end. And it's very weird.
Yeah.
Beyond that, Lumpy finishes it up. It's hard to keep him straight. Finishes it up, and then we go. There's like a signal, like the trouble alert from the old Super Friends.
Yep.
And we're told that there's a show, and it's confusing. It's a show about a cantina on Tatooine, and we go in, and this is where we meet B. Arthur, and we see Harvey Korman's 3rd character, Krolman, I think it was.
I think that's what it was, yeah.
The alien that drinks through the top of his head.
Yeah.
It's really weird looking.
That was weird.
So they're going on, and she's running the cantina, and you see all of the creatures that were from the original cantina in Star Wars. And it's interesting. I mean, they use all the same masks and everything. They use the same sound effects. The music, of course, is the Cantina Band song.
Yeah.
And the part that gets confusing is as they're going, there's an alert from the Empire that's played on Kashyyyk for some reason also.
Yeah.
But it's played on Tatooine saying that Tatooine is under curfew. Everybody has to go home. So then B. Arthur breaks out into the good night, friend, so long, friend.
Which actually has the Cantina song music. And I was like, well, I never realized that song had words before.
Yeah, it's played really, really slow.
Slow, yeah.
And, she's telling everybody they got to go and everything. But that's what's confusing is I thought it was supposed to be a show in the show.
Yeah.
But then they get the alert that they're all on curfew.
Yeah.
And the Wookiees see it on Kashyyyk. So maybe it was like supposed to be a reality show.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
So finally Han and Chewie make it back.
Yeah.
It gets really dark.
Yeah, it's just really, it's a really odd thing. I mean, you'd think the tone of it when it starts, you're almost thinking this is like a kid's show.
Yeah.
With the friendly sort of the Wookiees, they're grunting. It's supposed to be a little bit funny.
Yeah.
But then there's parts that are just not inappropriate for kids, but the kids would just even me, I would just lose interest in it.
Well, let's wrap up the show and then we'll go back because there's a lot to talk about that. So basically, Han and Chewie make it back. There's one stormtrooper left to guard.
Yeah.
The rest of the Imperials left because Lumpy tricked them all into leaving, and Chewie comes to the door and the stormtrooper's there, and then he comes out, and then Han taps him on the shoulder. The stormtrooper turns around and falls to his death.
Yeah, as you've seen earlier in it, it's a really, really
it's
far,
probably 100 feet up at least.
Yeah.
So you get a Wilhelm scream. He goes through the railing, and a couple minutes later, Han very nonchalantly goes, "Oh, they're going to be looking for him," and he picks up the stormtrooper's blaster that he dropped and throws it over the edge with him.
Yeah.
It's very. It was just kind of dark.
Yeah.
So then Han says, "I got a book because they might find the Falcon."
Yep.
And then we go to the Life Day ceremony, and suddenly Han, Leia, Luke, and the droids are all there with the dozens of Wookiees. That
wearing
showed
their satanic robes,
ceremonial satanic sacrifice robes.
You swear when they're standing there, they look like they're gonna pray. You can swear. I think both of us at the same time basically said, "Oh, Satan!" I mean, because it just looks like they're about to, pray, but obviously by their clothes, it's something evil.
Our dark Father, please accept this sacrifice. Yes, it's a little weird. So and they go. I don't understand how it works.
I already know what you're talking about. It doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, the Wookiees the family at least, they all get these balls, these glass ball orb things, and then all of a sudden they're walking in space in robes
towards this glowing
towards a light.
Yeah,
and then they wind up on the Land of the Lost set.
Yeah, with
smoke and everything everywhere, and then Princess Leia sings.
Yeah, and
then they're at dinner.
Yep.
And and at the end, and it just. It's really hard to watch sober. I can't even imagine what it'd be like if you weren't completely you had your faculties intact.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and what does Princess Leia sing? She sings basically the Star Wars.
I can't even remember the words. It was really weird, but yes, it's to the Star Wars theme.
So just like the Cantina song, it's an actual song from the movie. It's the Star Wars theme, but then now there's suddenly lyrics to the song.
Yeah, and it's all about
getting along,
loving family and friends and all that, but it's just very weird that this Wookiee holiday is being. I guess it's one Life Day Carol is being sung by a human.
Yeah,
it's really weird. But I can't imagine having listened to another 5 minutes of.
Yeah, I know. Anything's better than that.
Yes. So there you have it. There's the rundown of this
monstrosity,
train wreck. We're going to take a quick break so we can get our faculties together, and we'll come back and talk about some of the stranger parts of this.
Yes.
Be right back.
All right.
And welcome back to the Bomb Shelter. We're still talking about the Star Wars Holiday Special. Now, you'll notice we do keep calling it the Holiday Special. That is its official name, the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah, we're not trying to be PC. It's
yes.
Yeah.
It was never called the Star Wars Christmas Special, contrary to what a lot of people, some people inadvertently say.
Yeah.
It was actually released around Thanksgiving 1978.
Yeah.
It was not not around Christmas time. And I don't know what the reasoning behind that was.
Yeah.
Maybe it was because there's just, when we were kids, we had Rudolph, we had Frosty, we had Santa Claus coming to town, we had, Rudolph's Shiny Christmas, we had Little Drummer Boy, we had so many, we had Charlie Brown Christmas, we had so many holiday cartoon specials that maybe they were kind of like, well, let's get a jump on it, get it out early, and hey, it's Star Wars, the kids will love it.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't remember how I felt about it. I remember seeing it, I remember being excited about it, but there's a lot of weird stuff in this. And again, lots of cocaine probably involved. There are things that when we were watching it just recently, we were noticing there were things that were very adult and almost inappropriate for kids.
Yeah. It almost feels like maybe, again, I don't know how much was on purpose and how much wasn't, but maybe they're trying to make everyone happy. So throw a little out for the kids, a little bit out for the dirty old men.
Oh, gosh. Yes, let's get that one out of the way. When Art Carney's character, which I cannot remember.
Me either. It's okay. Art Carney.
I could feel my brain sloughing off against the inside of my skull while I was watching this, so it's really hard to remember the names. Art Carney's character, though, he comes and he brings gifts to the family. He brings Lumpy, the little communications device that he uses later. He brings the Jefferson Starship in a box for Mala, and for Itchy, he calls it a proton pack, and he plugs it into Itchy's. I don't know. It looks
weird.
It looks like a hair dryer, like one of those that you see in a beauty salon. But apparently, it's like a video thing that you wear on your head. And he keeps telling me, this is whoa, this is wow, and like two dirty old men talking to each other.
Yeah.
And here's where we get our first glimpse of apparently Itchy's weird fetishes, because his version of Wookiee porn involves Diane Carroll with a pink wig on.
You would think it would be another Wookiee or something.
Yeah, Patterson Gimlin tape or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not a human.
Yeah.
So much. And she comes into focus and starts talking, and then talking about how she's his fantasy, and oh, I can feel your excitement.
She goes a little too far, it feels like.
Yeah, there's a lot of her closing her eyes and shimmying around, and it's just I was like probably 6 or 7 when this came out, so I probably it all went over my head.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But watching it now, you just feel skeevy.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know that I would watch this with my kid now.
Yeah, and it feels like they could have got that idea across without her actually having to say some of the things she said.
Well, and without seeing Itchy writhing in a seat and grunting, and it was all just really disconcerting.
Really weird. It's
Gross
almost
is a word that comes to mind.
Maybe they had. I'm still just trying to fathom how they put this thing together. They had like a team for the adult to make the stuff for the adult viewers, and another team for the kids, and they just didn't like stuff with each other. Possibly. I don't know.
Maybe they didn't talk to each other.
Like,
I don't know.
This would be great.
It was just bizarre.
Yeah.
Then we have the Cantina part.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's all kind of, you know, silly and lighthearted, like the cantina scene, you know,
Yeah.
without Walrus Man getting his arm chopped off. In fact, he's looks to be doing just
He's
fine in
fine.
this one.
Yeah.
He grew his arm back. But, you know, there's, you know, a lot of drinking and stuff like that, and people, you know, creatures getting drunk and getting thrown around, a gun's drawn on Acmena, B. Arthur's character, Acmena,
Yeah.
which is the one I can remember. She's telling everybody they have to leave, and a guy pulls a gun on her, and she's like, "Oh, okay, whatever."
Yeah.
And it's a little weird. Not as creepy as Itchy's part, but and then we've got when the stormtrooper gets, you know, falls off too.
Yeah.
For a holiday special, that's really dark.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, basically, Han startled him, and he fell off and plummeted to his death.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. You know, Lumpy's room getting torn up by the stormtroopers.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you the warm fuzzy holiday feelings that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
normally do. So yeah, it was very, I guess, uneven would be
Oh yeah.
what I would use. I mean, we were kids and stuff. There was all sorts of stuff, you know, innuendo and things,
Yeah.
but most of it was pretty docile and went right over our heads and everything.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but this, watching it now, yeah, very odd.
Yeah.
As far as the reception, it got panned bad.
Yeah. Of course.
I mean, it's pretty well known just how bad this is. Lucas hates it. He totally disavowed it.
Yeah.
He's been quoted as saying if he could, he would find every copy
Yeah.
of it and smash it.
Yeah.
And once it got on the internet,
I would
think
help him.
Well, it's an interesting look. It's very much of its time.
Yep.
Because again, we had 70s variety shows, and I mean, if you watch clips of the Donnie Murray show, it was horribly cheesy.
Yeah.
You know, we had Hee Haw, which was cheesy. We had just all these different things, and then we'd have specials, these variety show specials. The Brady Bunch had a variety show. It was
just what you did.
Yeah, it was a 70s thing, and
Yeah.
this was toward the end of it. So I don't know if it was because it was toward the end of it or because it was just so awful.
Maybe just the craziness of Star Wars being so popular. Maybe it's just like, let's do anything we can do with this. Let's just keep this thing going.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't need to. Obviously, the rest of the movies did really well as well.
Well, at this point, because when Star Wars first came out, it was when it was being made, it was looked at as just being just some goofy little sci-fi movie. It wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it was going to be a standalone.
Yep.
Even though Lucas had plans for more of the story, nobody thought it was going to do anything. And when it took off, you know, famously, Kenner didn't have the figures ready by Christmas.
Yep.
And did the infamous early bird packages, which were basically a box with a piece of paper that said, "We promise to send you these figures in February." So a lot of kids got a box under the tree. Actually, a lot of parents, though, didn't go for it because they thought, "Oh, this isn't going to happen."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's why you can still find, and they're not cheap.
Yeah.
You can still find early bird packages
That'd be neat.
because people, you know, Kenner didn't
Yep.
sell them all. But everything went Star Wars crazy after it took off in 77. And at that time, we couldn't just go and pop a DVD in and watch it whenever we want or go online and see something. You had to wait until it was in the theaters. So
you took whatever you could get. So
yeah, and this was what
good
we
and
could
bad.
get.
It's like it's Star Wars related. Well, I'm gonna watch it then. You know, because
Yeah.
there's no other option.
Yeah, well, it's like, I mean, it's kind of the same today. I mean, we get, in my opinion, we get too many Star Wars movies out
Yeah.
too soon, not letting them kind of marinate. But I was having a discussion in a forum. Well, I was on a discussion on a forum, basically saying, you know, hey, we've they're going overboard on the Star Wars stuff. I'm
Yeah.
putting Star Wars on everything. I mean, we had them on bananas recently.
Wow.
You could buy Dole bananas with Star Wars stickers on them.
Did they taste better?
They tasted, well, it had Chewbacca on it. I
Oh.
just don't want to think about
Yeah.
what
Okay.
it could have tasted like. But now we've just got this saturation
Yeah.
to the point where it's like, okay, it's too much.
Yeah.
Then though, we didn't have it.
Yeah.
We had the toys, we had the movies when they came out. So we took what we could. And this was what we got.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again though, Lucas hated it.
Yeah,
Not very
Lucas
many
hated
people
it.
like
We've both heard or read. We both in our mind had this idea that I guess Carrie Fisher used to use the Star Wars Holiday Special as a way to get people to leave her house
I've heard that
when it was time to go.
yeah, she'd have parties. She said she would turn it on and get people to leave, which I think this would be quite effective to get people
Yeah,
to leave.
yeah, I would leave.
It'd be like, oh, she's getting the box out. No, go. So, and up till recently when Disney reset all the canon for the movies, this was kind of loosely canon because we're introduced to the Wookiees' homeworld, which, of course, they called Kazook, and it's
Yeah.
Kashyyyk. And his family were actually included in other stories. So they were canon. And Life Day, I think, was canon. So there were different levels of canon before Disney took over. And I think this was kind of one of the slightly below the movies.
Yeah,
And it technically it was part of the rest of the Star Wars story,
wow.
which now it isn't. Now it's Legends. So can we find anything good about this?
Good, bad, and ugly. This is a section we try to do in each podcast where we try to find something good, something bad, and something ugly.
Yeah, because quite honestly, we do enjoy these movies.
Yeah,
Even though some of them are less pleasant to watch than others,
yeah,
they're not. We don't hate them.
yeah.
So we do try and find something good.
Sometimes the good is just it was a good excuse to get together and have some pizza and watch a movie.
Yeah. Sometimes the good was it's over.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's something good.
I don't know. I would say for me the good was, not that you wouldn't have had Boba Fett without this, but it was neat to be introduced to him in this sort of odd way in a cartoon within a TV special.
Yeah. It was a TV show within a movie.
Yeah.
Within a TV show. Yeah. I could see that. It was weird. I mean,
Yeah,
after reading, after finding out more about before the Disney canon switch, find out more about Boba Fett and who he was and stuff, it didn't make a whole lot of
Yeah,
sense
yeah.
because like Han Solo was like, "Hey, friend," and
yeah. They're
Luke is, "Hey, buddy,"
yeah,
and it's like, well, you're supposed to be the most notorious bounty hunter in the galaxy. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they would have heard of you. So it was a little weird.
yeah.
For me, the good, I just remember being excited because it was Star Wars.
Yeah.
And, there was some good. It was a good little placeholder, even though it was just
Yeah.
baffling to watch. It was a good placeholder until Empire came out.
Well, when you're a kid, and especially before you could click a couple keys on your computer and watch pretty much anything you can imagine.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, I really loved and still do love superheroes, but I remember there was just nothing. I mean, so I was watching, the 60s Spider-Man cartoons, which
Yeah.
are pretty ridiculous, but that's all there was for a while. And
Yeah.
those Super Friends cartoons, and you just in that situation you take whatever you can get because that's what else can you do?
Yeah. You kids will never know
Yeah.
the struggle.
Yeah.
It was real.
I remember wanting so badly to have, action figures for some of the superheroes.
Yeah.
And they just did not make them. And now it's like a whole, I don't know, $1 million business of action
just
figures. There was none.
thousands
though.
of them.
I used to just imagine. I used to think like, well, I could paint like a G.I. Joe to look like Spider-Man or something
Yeah.
like that, But anyway, yeah, the point is, you just sort of back then, you took whatever you could get, anything, and even if it kind of sucked, that's okay. At least it was sort of Star Wars and got you
Yeah.
excited a little bit.
And, like I said, being kids, it was Star Wars. We
Yeah.
didn't care. it just, we wanted to have something more,
Yeah.
another part of it. So the bad, oh boy,
Wow.
I think we covered
I
most
think
of
that's
the bad.
that's the last 39 minutes has been that. So
Pretty much. I don't know whose shoulders to put the blame on.
yeah,
I want to say Valanche, mostly because it's got him all over it.
yeah.
And just, I mean, so cheesy, even for the 70s, so cheesy.
Yeah.
And the songs that just kept going and going and had nothing to do. Even
Yeah, they didn't have anything to do with
Agmina's
it.
and Leia's songs didn't have anything really. Well, okay, Leia's did because she was singing about Life Day,
Yeah.
but
And they seemed kind of forced. The forced, I mean,
they were wedged in.
they were wedged in and just I think someone came up with the bright idea like, well, the song that B. Arthur sings should be the cantina music, but there should be lyrics. Instead of just saying,
Yeah.
let's write a nice song about this, it's like, well, we got to make it with this music. And then
Yeah.
we got to use the Star Wars theme. And let's find some tune that Leia can sing that goes along with that.
Yeah.
It just seems sort of...
And Diane Carroll's song was.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, it was. And you're just trying to keep back the dry heaves watching it.
Yeah.
Just knowing, imagining what's going through Itchy's head.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk about Jefferson Starship being on there.
Oh, yeah.
There's a scene where the Imperial troops are in the Wookiee's house, and Art Carney, one of the troops, picks up this box. It's a little television kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Art Carney turns it on for him, and it's Jefferson Starship playing a song, which I guess, when it came out, it was actually released, and it was released with a sticker on it that said "As seen on the Star Wars Holiday
Ooh.
Special," But it was before the Holiday Special came out, so it was like, after they did it,
Yeah, it's like,
they probably took all the stickers off.
Yeah.
But it's not a horrible song, but it's.
You can tell it's made for a purpose, not because they came up with a song they wanted to do. It's like...
It almost seems like, because the variety shows of that time, when they would have a singer come on, it was usually, they were promoting, they had a new record
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And so they would air quotes sing a song from the record when it was obvious it was all
Recorded,
and lip
yeah.
synced. And I kind of get the feeling that maybe what this was, they were like, hey, you're Jefferson Starship and we want you in our show. And, and they're like, well, we've got a new song. Let's use this.
Yeah.
And okay, sure. And it just didn't quite mesh
Yeah.
very well.
We were talking earlier before recording, saying that maybe they picked Jefferson Starship. I don't know if they were the only ones that agreed, or... I mean, but part of it you'd think would have to be the fact that the word Starship is in the name of the band.
Because they weren't huge by that point. They
Yeah.
weren't at their 60s peak.
Yeah.
And obviously they changed from Airplane to Starship.
Yeah.
I mean, in 78 you had, disco was huge.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why they didn't go with,
Yeah.
the Bee Gees or something.
Yeah.
But
That
I
might
don't
have
know.
been kind of fun.
That could have been interesting. The Village People.
We've said the Village People twice during one podcast.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
We'll have to find something some show with the Village. Oh, Can't Stop the Music.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Get ready for that one, listeners. That's going to be a treat.
So
the bad, the writing,
Yeah.
it's so horribly corny. It goes past being charming to
Yeah.
just being wince-inducing.
Yep.
And the ugly,
I think Itchy for me.
Itchy.
Yeah.
Itchy, that whole scene was just,
Yeah.
I don't know at what point I don't know why at some
Yeah.
point somebody didn't say, guys.
There will be kids watching this.
Yeah, there
Don't
are
forget.
children watching this. So yeah. There's your ugly. Do we think it's worth watching?
Once. I think you should watch it once just to say you did.
Especially if you're a Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
for
haven't
sure.
seen it yet. and it's really easy to find. And it was only aired once, and it was never released on officially released on any kind of media. But you can find it online. It's really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say watch it at least once just to say you witnessed it.
Yeah. To impress people at parties, you say, "Hey, have you seen the Star Wars Holiday Special?"
And have
of course
them
I
leave.
have. Yeah.
Have those people leave.
Yeah.
But at least once, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
The Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah.
Or as I said earlier, Star Wars Holiday
Special.
Yep. Because that sounds every bit as good as any of the other songs in there. So, that's it for now then.
Yeah. That's all the time we have this time on the bomb shelter. Right now, you can find us one place, and that's probably, I think, it's got to be where you're listening to us.
Where you're listening to
which
right
would
now.
be YouTube on our Valley Lodge Productions
Little
YouTube page, yeah.
YouTube channel. That's what the kids are
That's what
calling
they
it.
call them. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we are right now, and that's just a way for us to kind of continue this thing while we try to figure out this whole technology thing. Like, how do you do iTunes? Things like that.
Hammering it all out. So at some point we will make this so it'll be a little more portable.
Yeah.
So you don't have to stream it all the time if you want to, because I know you all want to listen to it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for now, find us at Valley Lodge Productions. You can also email us. We would appreciate any kind of constructive feedback.
Yep.
You can reach us at valleylodgeproductions@gmail.com.
Yep. Yep.
And you can also leave comments in the on the videos themselves, or on the YouTube channel itself until y'all get nasty, and then we just turn it off.
Yeah.
So, but until then, we will catch you later, and take care.
Bye.
May the Force be with you.
We celebrate a day